Okay, so in our earlier class, we have discussed about the various aspects of the cell. Okay, uh, what are the size of the cell? Okay, we discussed about the different. In today's class, we will be moving on to couple of other features of the cell. Okay, one interesting point that is about the cell is the efficiency. Efficiency. What is the meaning of efficiency?
So how fast we
Capability.
can do a task?
To
Able
do something with perfection.
to do some work with the
Perfection.
perfection. Okay, so if we have to put it in a more scientific language, what we can say efficiency, you know that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. We can only
Yes, sir.
convert from
Yes.
one form to another form. So for example, in a dam, okay, hydroelectric dam, okay, the kinetic energy of the flowing water has to be converted into electrical energy. Okay, so kinetic energy is converted into electrical energy. Whether this conversion is 100% efficient?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, it's not. So here comes the point that efficiency is when we are converting one type of energy another type. When there is a conversion of energy, how best that can be done without the loss. Okay, the loss may be in the form of heat or some other way. Okay, so here in a cell, when we talk about efficiency, what is this? A cell is a three-dimensional structure, correct? And it has a surface. Outside it has a surface and it occupies volume. In your chemistry also, what is matter? Okay, I think you have what is matter, definition of matter: anything that has
Mass and occupies
Mass
space.
and occupy space.
occupies
Mass and
mass
occupies
space.
space.
So a cell also has mass and occupies space. Okay, so it will have some mass and it is having some volume. So outside whatever, if you consider that the cell is in the shape of a sphere, okay, or a cube, it has a surface area, outside surface area, and there is a volume inside, it is occupying some volume. Now for any cell to survive, it has to exchange, okay, food material from outside. It needs to take the food material. Okay, whatever nutrients are there in the outside, it needs to take that, and whatever waste material is there, that has to be removed outside. Okay, so if this should be done efficiently, if there is more surface area in the cell, that is more efficient, or if there is less surface area, that is more efficient?
More surface area.
More surface area.
Ah, more surface area if it is there, then it can exchange, it can take the nutrients from outside very fast. Okay, more surface area is there, and from inside whatever waste is being generated, that it can remove outside. And also another point is, if the size of the cell is small, for example, if you are comparing a chicken egg, okay, and say a bacterial cell, very small bacterial cell with a chicken egg, who is going to be more efficient?
Bacterial cells.
Why?
Bacterial cell.
Why?
It
Because
is
it
small.
has
Bacteria.
more surface area.
Because
So because it is small and is efficient for the excretion and the intake of the nutrients, as
but
you said.
And
but because
transported.
it is
Transport.
but why it is efficient? Because it is small.
So transport of substances in the cell can take place at a higher rate.
How?
It will have to travel less and thus the process could be fast.
Yes. You see, what is happening is, if this is a very large egg cell and this is a small bacterial cell, if a molecule has to move from this part of the cell to this part, it has to travel a great distance. Okay. And how this traveling is taking place? This traveling is taking place by the process of diffusion, simple diffusion. Okay. Then no energy is not involved. Inside the cell, the molecules are in random motion. Okay, just like what we are studying, kinetic theory of matter, kinetic theory of gases, whatever we are studying, right? Molecules are in a constant motion, some kind of Brownian motion, we say. Okay, so the molecules, if they are inside a very large cell, they have to cover a huge distance. Okay, for them, but a small cell, okay, the molecules have to travel a very small distance. So efficiency will increase. In less time it is able to do the job. So there is a rapid communication between the intracellular components. Okay, that is one advantage if the cell size is small. Another thing is that an increase in the surface area divided by, this is the ratio, surface area divided by volume ratio, for better diffusion of the substances in and out of the cell. Okay, this point a little bit not so difficult, you can understand. Here one small cube is there. Okay, it is 1 centimeter on all sides, length, breadth, height, all is 1 centimeter. And here second cube 2 centimeter, this is 3 centimeter. For if you calculate the surface area, okay, so you are getting 6 centimeter square for 1 centimeter length, and volume is 1 centimeter cube. You take the ratio of both of these, surface area by volume, 6:1 ratio you are getting, means for one volume you are getting 6 times more surface area. That is the meaning of the ratio. But when you are taking this 3 centimeters cube, okay, each side is 3 centimeter, then what ratio you are getting? 2:1. That means for one volume you are getting only 2 times the surface area. So this is also another important point. When the size of the cell increases, the surface area to volume ratio decreases. Okay, though for you it may seem that, oh, the cell has become very huge, it is having more surface area, but if you take the ratio of that volume to the surface area, it has reduced. It has reduced. Okay, so the efficiency will be high for the small cell. Okay, the small cell will have high surface area to volume ratio, and there will be a rapid communication between the intracellular components. These are the two reasons. Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the next character of the cell, feature of the cell, that is the cell shape. There is a lot of diversity in the shape of the cells. Okay, and the diversity in the shape is for the purpose of function. Okay, for example, you know that RBCs, okay, the main function of RBC is transport of oxygen inside the body. Okay, they are having hemoglobin. If you look at the structure of the RBC, it looks like a disc shape. Okay, disc shape, and it is a biconcave in nature. Okay, you are seeing this curve is towards the inside, no? Concave, bent inside. Okay, so in this, what is happening is the structure of the RBC is helping it to pass through the blood vessels, inside the blood vessels. Okay, and also it does not have the nucleus. Mature RBC does not have the nucleus, and it is full of the, what you say, hemoglobin, that is for the oxygen transport. If you compare that with WBC, what is WBC?
White blood cells.
White
White
blood
blood
cell.
cell.
What is the function of the WBC?
To fight
To
diseases.
fight infections.
Okay, fight infection. So you see here, these are all RBCs are there, the same shape we are seeing here, and in between this you are able to see this kind of cell. It is looking something like a amoeba. Okay, like a octopus or something. It will be moving like and if any bacteria or virus it is seeing, it will directly eat it. Its function is like that only. The cell is in the way like it is an amoeba, and whatever it is identifying is a foreign particle, directly full it will just eat it, and after it engulf that one, after it take that one, it will break it in small pieces, it will digest it inside its own cell. So that is why here you can see the different type of cell structure is there according to its requirement. Phagocytosis. Phagocytosis means eat it in full form as it is, it will just eat it. Phagocytosis. Then we are looking at the nerve cells. Nerve cells are very long tube kind of structure. Okay, and they have to conduct the electrical signal. Okay, that is why their shape is like this, almost like a wire. Okay, like an electrical wire. When you look at muscle cells, they are long and contractile. Okay, contractile means anything that is able to contract. Okay, contraction, expansion. So these muscle cells are contractile. Okay, the cardiac muscle, skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, we will be seeing more in detail in the tissue chapter. Okay, different, these are the individual cells. Okay, these blue ones, what we say is the nucleus of the cell. So these are the muscle cells, and in the plant cell you can see here, these are known as the guard cells. Okay, so guard cells are there in the leaves, in the stomata. Okay, you know very well what is the function of the stomata. Have you heard this term stomata before?
Yes.
It's transpiration.
Opens and closed for photosynthesis.
Correct, transpiration in the leaves. Whatever that water vapor has to escape from the leaf, that is through the transpiration through the stomata. So this you are able to see inside this kind of bean kind of a structure, that is a cell, and that when there is a sufficient amount of water, it will become like filled up, and then whatever the opening is there, that will get closed. When there is less water, it will open up, it will allow to go. So means the structure of the cell is such that it will allow the opening and closing of the stomata. Okay, so in this way there are the different types of shapes of the cells according to their function. Okay, now we will be moving on to the next section of your chapter. This is a extremely important section. Okay, in this section I will tell this is a 5-star section. Okay. Why? Because not only this particular 9th class, but 10th class also, it is very important. You have to remember it not only for today, for this year, but also for next year also you have to remember. Okay. It is the fundamental for you to understand the other important concepts in biology that are going to come. Okay. So my request is, don't miss the classes and don't and pay more attention, okay, in this particular. Try to, if you don't understand, you can ask. So in this particular section, we will be covering three important parts. Number one, just like the human body has many organs, like that only within the cell there are many organs, but we don't say them as organs, we call them as organelle. Okay, organelle, that means small organs, very small organs, little organs, organelle. Okay, the organelle, cell organelle. So cell organelles are the small structures or organs that are there inside the cell. The types of cells are two: prokaryotes and eukaryotes. This is the types of cells. Okay, this is the inside the cell. Okay, the eukaryotes are two types: plant cells and animal cells. We will see in detail. Okay, first organelle. What is the meaning of organelle? Organelle means little organs. Okay, these are specialized subunits within a cell with a specific function. Okay, specialized subunits. So you say a cell is a unit of life or building block of life, we say, no? So if cell is the unit or building block of life, organelle is the subunit of the cell. Cell is a unit, organelle is the subunit. Yes. Yes, you want to ask something, Abhinav? Okay. Organelles are subunits. Okay. So they are having a associated with the specific function. Okay. So number one is membrane bound organelles. Membrane bound organelles. And the second one is non-membrane bound organelles. Okay. So membrane, what is the meaning of membrane? Anyone want to guess what is the meaning of membrane?
Covering. Covering.
Boundary.
Yeah, covering or boundary, but a very thin one, very thin. Okay, membrane, it should be very thin. So the cells, they are also covered by a boundary. Okay, they are also covered by a boundary, and that is very thin boundary. That boundary is the membrane. Okay, membrane we will see more in detail. Okay, the membrane bound organelles, they are separately enclosed within their own lipid bilayer. Okay, we will understand this term. Okay, lipid, what is the meaning of lipid? Sorry, lipid means
Fat molecules.
fat, fat. So fat, oils, two things are there, fats and oils. Fats are solid at room temperature and oils are liquid at room temperature. Okay, for example, mustard oil, groundnut oil, sunflower oil, all these things are liquid at room temperature. Okay, so oil is liquid at room temperature, fats are solid at room temperature. For example, ghee, dalda and all these are solid at room temperature. Both of these fats and oils, they are coming under only one category, that is the lipids. Okay, so lipids means both fats and oils. So here what we are telling, the membrane bound organelles, okay, they are separately enclosed within their own lipid bilayer. Okay, so we will see the structure of the cell, okay, like this, in which you can see that outside the cell there is some kind of boundary. For example, bacterial cell or a plant cell, it is also having some kind of definite shape. Animal cell also, outside there is some kind of a boundary is there. Okay, boundary is there, and inside also you can see that there are some structures inside the cell, and these structures, they are covered by a membrane. Okay, so these structures, these organelle that are covered by the membrane are membrane bound organelle, but some of these don't have membrane. Okay, we will see those examples also, they don't have membrane. Okay, these are what you say the non membrane bound organelles. Okay, they are not supported by the lipid bilayer. Okay, now we will just make a general observation of the types of the cell. Okay, now what you were able to see here, two types of cells. Okay, one is a prokaryotic and one is eukaryotic. Okay, okay, so prokaryotic. So what we will do is, pro means what? Pro means primitive. Okay, prokaryotic. Okay, pro means primitive and karyotic means carry-on. Carry-on means nucleus. Okay, carry-on means nucleus. So prokaryotic means the cell which is having a primitive nucleus. Okay, so here if you take a bacterial cell, this is the DNA of the bacteria. Okay, that is the DNA of the bacteria. So this is one typical bacterial cell. Okay,